Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to the February 5th Ways and Means meeting. The agenda is probably relatively brief, but very informative. We're going to get an overview of the town budget today. But before that, is there anyone here for public comments? Seeing none. Let's move on to the budget. John Denizio and Whitney are going to provide the color commentary.
Paul had a scheduling conflict tonight, so you get the A- team. The one that does all the work, and then I came with her. So.
Don't sell yourself short.
So I'm going to start and just take a few minutes to just hit the highlights on the scorecard, and then I'll turn it over to Whitney to tell you what you're receiving in your binder tonight. So the scorecard you have in front of you tonight represents the town side of the operating budget only. And you'll see when you go through it that what we're submitting here tonight brings us in just under the target guideline of 3.25 for the town side. And as you look through it, you'll go through when you go through your binder, you'll see that there's been some adjustment made to some of the departments. And you'll hear more about those when you have the department heads at their subcommittee meetings and then when they come here to see the committee. But I will tell you that the department heads all feel that they're able to, at these levels, able to maintain the level of services needed to continue to meet the mission of their departments. And I just want to take a second to thank the department heads for all their hard work every day, but in particular on this process, that it isn't easy for them to come in and tell us what they spend all of their money on and why, then come and do the same thing for you all. So we appreciate that. I'm sure you've looked at the scorecard in front of you, and I'm sure there's one department, or maybe more than one, but at least one department that the increase looks a little large. So I just wanted to point that out right away, the negotiated settlements. And the reason for that increase is really just the process. So as you all know, we budget the entire negotiated settlement estimate in that line at first. And then as we have agreed contracts, we transfer that into the appropriate departments as we go. It just so happens for the first time in a long time, we had all of our contracts settled this year. So that we transferred out almost down to zero. So we have a few contracts that are out next year, patrol, fire, A&P. So we have an estimate put together to start there, and we think that would be enough to cover negotiated settlements. What's not included in the scorecard is both the school's operating budget, and normally the accommodated or fixed would be on the back. We're still really working on those. Those, I think, typically come up at maybe one of the next meetings because we really have to nail down some of the bigger numbers: health insurance, special ed, transportation, and tuition. And those are big, heavy hitters. We're working hard on those, and it looks like they're going to come right in line with our projection, our initial projection of what was around 6.25 or 6.5. So you'll be seeing those soon, but rest assured that as you go through the department budgets and approve them, that if they were all approved as submitted, you would still be under the target or guideline for the town side. I'd like to let Whitney talk about the binder since.
John, first I want to echo John's sentiment about all the hard work that our department heads put into this process. It is not easy, and it's a lot of work, and we really appreciate everything that they do. So just to give a brief overview of what you have in front of you, for those of you that have the hard copy, in the inside of the binder you have the website instructions. If you choose to log on there, those have each department's budget, updated scorecards as it changes, FTE charts, and any other relevant documents. Then you have, behind this table of contents, you'll find the FTE chart, which is the requested FTE chart. So there's a couple changes on that you may notice. One thing is for police, there's an additional patrolman, which is part of, I believe, a 5-year plan. And this is the final year of that plan. And then you'll also see 2 additional laborers in the water and sewer department to help with work related to the water distribution system. I'm sure John Sanchez will talk a lot more about that and do a much better job than I can of explaining it, but I just wanted to highlight that. And then finally, the other little uptick is in the town clerk's department. There's a part-time position that Amy's looking to make full-time. So overall, I think the change is about 3.4, 3.5. That's where that comes from. Then after the FTE, you have the departmental budget details. The only thing that I would point out there is last year we consolidated a number of legislative committee budgets, including yourselves. And that's the same this year, but since it's a relatively new change, just wanted to point out again that those various departments are combined into Department 119, other legislative committees. And that's all I have.
So I think that the first night, we sort of give a brief overview, answer any initial questions you may have, and then move on to subcommittee meetings. So I think we'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Questions, anyone? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 2 quick questions. One, it doesn't seem like we can log into the website, so if you could just double check that.
With the instructions right there. John said he checked them.
I got in, but I used the accounting password, so that might be why.
Okay. So
I will check that.
if you could just give that a poke, that'd be great. And the other one, I ask this every year because I forget. On the scorecard, what are the asterisks again?
Those denote which departments fall under the direction of the town administrator versus another board or commission.
Got it. Thank you.
And for those of us who didn't get a book, do we get a copy of the general instructions for logging in?
Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions? Mike?
I think I asked for a book. Is it in the other room, or did my?
Yes.
It is, okay.
I have a quick one. The column that says supervisory approved, which supervisory is that?
That would be either the town administrator for those departments or, for example, the planning board, recreation commission.
Okay, but those, they have not already been approved, have they?
The only one that hasn't, I believe, is recreation.
They could potentially still need to vote, but this is what we got from the department heads to be able to submit time for pay.
Okay. I think, I was remembering in past years, there was a column that was proposed, and then there was another column that was approved, so, just so that I know what that means. But that's the number for the department, so.
Yep.
Great. Yes, Susan, Tanya?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think really a comment, not a question. I know you thank the department heads, but I think it's important for us to go ahead and thank you both for your work and to thank the town administrators, administrative staff too, because these books are a little bit of a nightmare to put together, if we want to be honest about that. So for those of us that are diehards and still want the book, I just want to say thank you. I like to carry it around from now till May, and I appreciate that work because that's not easy to be fielding our questions and be producing this, so thank you.
Right.
Thank you for doing that, Sonia. One other thing, I forgot to do that and didn't log in with the right password, so I'm over two today.
We've covered you now, it's all good.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's hard work, I know, so thank you for
Right.
that.
Definitely, the printing and assembly is excellent. What goes into every PDF file, I'm sure Whitney had a hand in, and probably,
Spent all day loading them up to the website that you can't get into now, so maybe tomorrow.
But it's there, though.
It is there, I promise.
The suspense is killing me.
okay. Mike?
So speaking of the website, that's really the place where any updates will go to, correct?
Yeah, so I think in the past, when a department has made an update, I'll email it all out to the group and print some copies and bring them here, but that's like a real-time update. I'll put those up right away.
Yeah, so that's the most, like, accurate.
And I date the versions as they go, so the old version stays and then the new one,
Okay.
the new date.
All right, so schedule-wise, I mailed around the proposed schedule for department reviews probably a couple of weeks ago that Whitney put together and arranged with all the departments. If there's any reason that we need to reschedule stuff, let me know, and Whitney, and we'll see if we can rearrange it to suit people. We got a couple of weeks of without Ways and Means meetings, so not until February 26th we have our next meeting, but the subcommittees should, line up appointments and meet with the departments ahead of time, of course, so they can give a good result. I will send around a list of the subcommittees and their respective departments, just in case there's some ambiguity. You can call me on it, and we'll get assignments made. So this operating budget runs us out through currently April 1st. After that, we will have some additional Ways and Means meetings to talk about warrant articles. They typically come in a couple of weeks after the end. And just a note on this, I believe the school department is going to start their budget review Tuesday next, the 11th. And their book is probably equally sized.
Yes.
So my appreciation goes to all subcommittees, and especially the school subcommittee, for wading through another department which is as big as this one. So, is there anything else on the budget? All right, thank you. Thank you. See you in a couple of weeks. So the only other item on our agenda for Ways and Means are to review the minutes of January 15th. That got sent around a couple of times, and there were some comments mailed back to Dana, who updated them. I think she distributed a copy. So are there any further comments on the minutes of January 15th? If not, can I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, any opposed? Abstaining? Is that 900? And
Motion to adjourn.
I think, yes.
Second.
All right. Fast and quick, appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Get everybody on their way.
You want to go to Shoshone?